Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Tiger Knight Empire War. Aside from being a game with a title that seems to have been put together overnight by mashing random words together, this is a free-to-play game on Steam. Now, I don't regularly cover free-to-play games, though I have covered quite a few on the channel, but this one particularly sparked my interest. A TLDR of this game would be Mount and Blade-style combat, along with you actually leading a squad of your troops, much like you do in Mount and Blade, but this is entirely multiplayer, based on essentially arena-like fighting that you get in MOBAs, though this is by no means a MOBA. But you do get, like, the 3 lanes and the entire map style of a MOBA, at least most maps are like that. And in addition, your heroes, quote-unquote, your generals, are more competent than they would be in Mount and Blade, but they are by no means superheroes. They are, after all, just soldiers. Tough soldiers, but just soldiers, ultimately. So, like I said, this game is very close to Mount and Blade, and I will go into exact mechanics and all that in depth as soon as we enter a game, but for the time being, let me show you the main menu here of this game. The progression system, which we're going to take a look at, well, we are looking at it right now, is very similar to something like World of Tanks, War Thunder, World of Warships, perhaps a few other space games as well that use the similar system. That is basically, you play with one unit, you unlock XP, you acquire XP with it, you use that along with credits to unlock the next tier of units, and then the next, and then the next, and there are several other different classes. The interesting thematic thing about this game is that all of these previously mentioned classes are set in China, apart from Rome. Now, Rome, as you can see, is coming soon, and unfortunately to me it seems like you cannot really acquire the Hastati or the early or even the late Legionari or something like that. You just have a basic unit, I believe, or you have their equipment. Here comes my first criticism of the game. The UI is not exactly crystal clear, in that I'm not exactly sure what I have equipped right now, whereas in something like, again, I brought up these games a few seconds ago, you know, World of Warships, World of Tanks, War Thunder, stuff like that. It is crystal clear what you have equipped and what you're going into battle with. If I were to go here and click battle, I'm not sure what I would have. Now, this is my general here. I've played through the tutorial and 1 or 2 battles. This is, I think it's 1, yes, it's 1 battle. Then I'm going to show you some gameplay later down the line, but for now, this is the troop upgrade screen. You have these various forces, such as the Militia Corporal, for example, and you unlock different equipment for it. You then buy him that equipment, and your troops, around 20 of them, 25, 30, depending on what unit you have with you, get these pieces of equipment on them. As far as specials and exploits, I haven't looked at exploits yet because I think this is high-level stuff. At least it seems like fairly high-level stuff. I haven't gotten a chance to look at it. This is, after all, just a first impressions video, not a review. And specials are unavailable for the time being. Aside from that, you also have your adjutant. I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. This is basically, I wouldn't call it a second-in-command, but like your officer, right? Well, it's an adjutant, but I'm trying to explain what the word means. These are hero units in your army, essentially, and there are quite a few of them there, as you can see, and you acquire them as you level up and gain both experience and credits. Speaking of which, you do that through doing various missions. I'm going to talk about how many game modes there are in a bit. But until then, let me just tell you that you can buy a VIP account, much like in the previously mentioned games of War Thunder and World of Tanks and so on. Whether the game is pay to win or not, I will get that conclusion in, I suppose you can call it, towards the end of the video, but for the time being, let's just say that I don't really think so. Speaking of the meat and the core of the gameplay, There is Command Mode, Duel Mode, and Epic War. Epic War is obviously PvE, the other two modes are PvP. The Duel Mode you get at a General level 5, and this is basically you dueling with another General. Auto-revive after being killed, so on and so forth. The Command Mode is the one that is most common, I believe, and this is where you essentially grab your units, like these for example, and you go to war and you command these units. So you are a general in command of them, and it is a 5v5, I believe? Relatively 5v5, okay. And there are other game modes coming soon. In terms of variety in both maps and gameplay, I'm very impressed by this game. But what I'm really, really impressed by is, as I'm going to go in a second, I'm going to go and show you my, we'll show you a couple of games. There is also, decorations and stuff that you can put on, like decals and stuff that you can put on your units and generals. That's to be expected in a game like this. There's also legions. This is essentially a guild, finder. You can join various guilds here, up to 30 members. There are rankings, events, and even missions. So you can see clearly, if you've ever played World of Tanks or something like that, you'll see clear, just blindingly obvious similarities. Which is only a good thing, one would assume. So, let us pick this unit, for example, with this general, and go into Competition Level 1, Command Mode PvP. Right, before we begin, I should note that this gameplay is recorded after the video itself has been finished. Because the footage that I initially wanted to use and comment on got corrupt because the game crashes at the end of the match. So bear that in mind. I'm going to talk about a lot about that towards the end of the video. But until then, let me focus on the basic combat mechanics and whatnot. So, usually like to spawn around here and then push in that direction on this map. This is a 5v5, which I may or may not have mentioned. I don't rightly remember, sorry. This is where our base is, and the, well, we're going to try and defend that, I suppose. Right, you're going to see, this is very reminiscent of Mount & Blade. Like I said many, many times, and probably will continue to say throughout the video. You will see exactly how and why when we begin the match in a few seconds. But this is basically the stage where you pick a spawn point, and you and your troops spawn there. Along with all the equipment that you chose in the previous menu. And here we go. This is my army, and this is me. There's my adjutant as well somewhere. Near, have I not got an adjutant? Maybe I forgot to hook up an adjutant, in which case, my bad. Anyways, let us charge towards the general direction of the enemy, and I usually like to go up this hill. Anyone who's played... Whoops, punched my microphone accidentally. Anyone who's played Mount & Blade knows exactly why. You control your troops like this. You order them to stay here, to follow you, to raid the enemy. You can also change their formation, though this particular unit does not have any formations unlocked at this point in time. Morale and stamina are displayed down there. As far as the actual combat, you have a variety of weapons, all very important. This particular character has a short sword and a small round shield. This weapon combination I really like, and the reason being I am a badass in close quarter combat, as I'm about to display. What you do is you let him miss his first swing, and then you get in close. That's the enemy general right there, not an adjutant, I should mention. And large overhead swings or stabs or whatever, and you're pretty much guaranteed a victory in most engagements. Now, there are skillful opponents that know how to counter this, but most of the time, a short sword beats a polearm in, well, pretty much like so, in close quarter combat. Now, that I believe that was either a general or an adjutant. Considering I don't get to execute him, I think that was an adjutant. Yeah, I'm not very good at this game, specifically. I just played a lot of Mount & Blade back in my day. And certainly a lot of experiences from over there carry over into this particular title. There we go, that's more of a fortunate hit than something I planned out. Regardless, though, if it works, I suppose. And to quote a particularly old game, how do you kill a general? Well, you begin by slaughtering all his men. I'm losing quite a bit of HP here. The spears are becoming too much to take out, and due to the fact that he has a lot better troops than I do, I'm forced to pull back. Very important thing to note, there is absolutely no respawning. You can get resurrected. Oh, check this out. Yeah, crouch plants. Or, well, sword at this stage, but you know what I mean. Are we... Oh, we're actually dominating the enemy. I just need to... There we go. Finish him. And I think I've done just that, or was that the adjutant? Not entirely sure once again. Though I will need to GTFO due to his troops being particularly nasty with those spears. They have a stagger effect on them, which most other forces do not, and as a result I don't believe I can survive, simply due to the reach of those things. Which leads me to the next thing. Even though your general is a bit of a badass, right? Even though he does have tons of HP, which is good considering there is no respawning, the regular troops are no pushovers. They can counter and they can fight. Mind you, you can still go through, you can still pretty much slaughter them. I mean, I've killed a surprisingly low amount, but we got the win in the end. That's all that really matters. There we go. Well then, you've seen some basics of the combat. Now, let's talk about some other things about the game, and later I'm going to show you another footage of the, well, some more footage of the game itself. Maybe in dual mode, maybe in PvE, we'll see. Probably like another PvP game would be just fine to record and show. Almost as if I planned for that, the game crashed, and therein lies my criticism of it. It tends to crash. Not that often. It crashed on sorry. It crashed on me twice, I think, this being the second time, once when I wasn't recording it. That's not ideal, as you might imagine. As you can see, I've earned a bunch of regular credits right there. No gold, obviously, because I haven't purchased any, and some prestige, or experience, whichever you want to prefer. Or sorry, whichever you prefer calling it. We can, as a result, go into here and change some of their equipment, or maybe buy them certain gear upgrades, and here we go. We can do that. Own that, sure. Oh, I could have just skipped and did that instead. I think Prestige is free experience, or the equivalent of in World of Tanks, and then we can... Alright, we already purchased this. Okay, buy this as well. Yep, it's free experience. I probably shouldn't be using free experience. Do these... Yes, these do have some experience of their own. There we go. Let's do that instead. So this is where you upgrade your troops, and this is basically how progression works. You buy these things. Now, you do bear in mind you need to equip these items as well. There we go. They've been upgrading now, and they now have spears. Let's buy them this as well. There we go. Into storage, and now... this appears to be frozen. I sincerely hope that I can... Huh. Apparently not. Okay. I was going to say I sincerely hope that I can unfreeze it somehow. Though it is not to be, apparently. It turns out we already have semi-decent weapons, from them being in the Roman camp. We still haven't used our double XP for these people, so let's get in a match with them and perhaps show some more competent gameplay. But before that, let's go into the market. Yeah. Here we get into a little bit of an iffy territory. Now, whether to fully and, you know, properly claim whether this game is pay to win or not, which is, I suppose, the biggest problem of all free-to-play games out there today, you would need to put in literally hundreds of hours in it, which is oftentimes the problem. Again, this is a first impressions video, not a review, as if you couldn't tell by my piss-poor gameplay. There is a bright side, though, to all of this. Even though, to me, initially, it looks like you can buy power, a little bit at least, it does not seem super relevant. Let me explain. Mount & Blade is, again, a great example. You can have a slightly better sword, or a slightly better piece of head armor, but if you're not competent enough to block incoming attacks, the other guy will absolutely pwn you, so long as he has something vaguely in the same rank as you. My point being, skill matters. A lot. And in there lies, I guess, a redeeming factor for this game, and that is that this is simply, you know, much more than do you have X, Y, and Z in stats. There is a deeper level of a power check, I suppose, and that is how good are you at actually fighting in the game as a general. Now, upgrading your troops, on the other hand, and paying for that with the credit cards is definitively a bit more tricky because you don't have a direct control over the combat with troops. But basically I'm saying that if a little bit of a pay-to-win element is present, it won't matter that much because the skill ceiling is high enough that it shouldn't, it shouldn't be an excuse, or shouldn't excuse the presence of such a thing. Bear in mind that it's just kind of a positive of whether such a thing is there or not. I don't know. Like I said, it would take hundreds upon hundreds of hours to fully and with confidence confirm that. So that is, I think, pretty much it as far as what I want to show you in this screen goes. This game is very intriguing to me. Again, completely free to play. And based on some of the games that I really like, namely, World of Tanks and Mount & Blade. Basically what I would describe it as a mix-up of the two. So, yeah, with that in mind, let's go into the next battle. Let's see if can I actually get a dual mode in? No. There is also PvE, but I think you get that only at level 5, yeah. There we go. Only level 5 you can start doing PvP. Until then you are... PvE until then you are stuck with. With this, bear in mind, with more gameplay modes to come, which I'm very excited about, because it does not seem very monotonous at all, and with brief, relatively brief matches, this seems to be able to keep one's interest for quite a while. Enough rambling, let's jump into another game. Right, now that we've shown all of that, let's get into some more action. This is a map that I've played on previously, though I think only twice up until now, so don't know how this exactly is going to go. But, yeah, I don't feel like there's too much to discuss about the actual combat of the game. You've seen pretty much everything there is to see. That was an incredible headshot, if I say so myself. Now, again, I run the problem that I ran in the first gameplay video that I showed you. Oh, there's 4 of them here. Never mind. Run. Nope. Sorry, I'm not fighting that. No. You misunderstand. There is 4 different generals, or at least 3. Yeah, there is a large amount of generals there that I do not want to fight. No. We are pulling back, and I'm going to let my allies deal with all the bullshit that is coming this way. I'm more than happy to fight a prolonged war. Are they coming? Yes, they are. This is a place where I can reinforce, though, so I have a little bit of an advantage, I hope. There we go, keep spawning those troops. There is simply way too many. I hit him again, like 2 very successful hits on both the generals, though I somehow don't think that that's going to be... What the hell's going on here? Somehow I don't think that's going to be particularly too useful for my current situation. There is simply too much stuff attacking me if I'm... Nope, there is... there is too much. The downside of this is, despite your skill sometimes, if outnumbered 3 to 1, there is only so much you can do. Oh well. Somehow don't see us winning this at all. That was just unfortunate and a gang up. As well as here, are we dealing with someone that's AFK maybe? Judging by the map, that is a distinct possibility. No? Probably not. Save me quickly. I don't somehow think that's going to be happening, my friend. Yep, there you go. What I would like is, well, obviously for the Roman nation to be implemented, that would be glorious. I can't wait for that. But maybe the UI itself, I would like the classical Mount and Blade UI. Now, mind you, that one was full of problems as well, but it was easy to get into, and whilst it didn't allow for too complex strategies to be done, it was fairly simple and easy to handle and to use. This one I feel like can be a bit confusing at times, though the force commanding is really not that complex. I do imagine, however, that we are going to get more options in the later tiers and in the as the game progresses and develops in and of its own right. That said, however, the choice of weapons, which is something I brought up in the previous gameplay footage bit, very important, which is a great thing. Which is a great thing indeed, and something that really draws me to this game is the fact that there is no objectively great thing to equip. Well, there is for your troops, but for you personally as a commander, there is not one objectively great thing to equip, but there is a huge variety in playstyles, which is really good. Often I see the more new people to the game select long pole arms because there is a sense of security, and in fact this is what historically happened. Most armies, especially the ones that didn't have the best training, equipped spears. And in fact, by the medieval era, pretty much entire armies were made up of almost exclusively spearmen. This was in early medieval ages. Now we are fighting here in China, not in medieval Europe, but regardless, this is pretty much in the same style of combat and the same venue, shall we say. As we might be able to pull this one. I don't think we're going to be able to survive this. I really do not. Yeah. Oh, well, survive this, win this, whatever, same thing. There we go. Anything can happen, I suppose. Would you please pull out your sword? I mean, you're embarrassing me. Thank you. It doesn't actually hear me. It's just my wishful thinking. There are 2 generals and an adjutant there against 1, and there's like 2 more coming in. We've just lost this. Okay. Well then, on to some more stuff about the game, but you've pretty much seen the core and the meat of the gameplay itself. I really like it. I think there is something that really draws me to this, and yeah, as far as the core gameplay is concerned, I have nothing but praise. Well, not true, I have some criticism of it as well. The lag is a little bit problematic at times, and I know it's not due to my PC or my connection, so yeah, he's hoping that changes and gets fixed. Early access is early access and all. But as far as the gameplay is concerned, I have, yeah, I'm very happy with where it is. Just see him go down there. He's putting up a good fight, it's just that there is no chance in hell of him winning. Yeah, especially getting back to base on time. Though I do give him the advantage over the polearm guy simply because he can, well, if he was a bit smart, well, not fair. The dude's doing great, but he's about to die because he's outnumbered so heavily. What you do in those situations, you sort of walk up to the enemy and make sure he can't strike you with the pointy end of his stick. Anyways, that's been it for this gameplay section. Back to more stuff about the economy and economy system in the game and the pay-to-win nature of it, or lack thereof, I suppose, and stuff associated with. Sorry about that. Again, it crashed. What does worry me a little bit is the fact that the ping is not exactly terrific at all times, and this is most certainly not down to me. And also the fact that the game crashes, not really regularly. Like I said, I only had 2 crashes. One was at the end of the game, so I guess I shouldn't really count that one, but I do. I'm a bit of a perfectionist in that sense. Now, on an i7, 6700K and an NVIDIA 1070 GTX, this really shouldn't be a problem. Like, especially I'm running this game, I installed it on an SSD as well. I should not be getting performance issues, which, to be fair, I'm not. But those crashes when you leave the game, or your Explorer crashing, the Windows Explorer crashing, stuff like that, really should not be happening. Now, obviously, early access, game still in development, I'm willing to, you know, accept that this is a thing that's currently in the game, but will get fixed eventually. Though I would like to see it fixed in the next few days or weeks, let's say. Hopefully by the time you're seeing this video, it would have already been removed as a thing. But for now, it is still a problem, or at least it is at the time of recording. There we go. That, ladies and gentlemen, has been Tiger Knight Empire War, and I really think getting this game a better name would have helped it in the marketing department. That's just my subjective opinion, though. I should note. One more thing I will mention is that this entire screen that you're looking at right now is windowed, and I don't think there's a way to magnify it at the time. You know, again, when I upload this, and by the time you're seeing this, that may as well be different. But for now, there is no way to change this. Also, should note that when you click play, it doesn't launch in this window. It actually shuts this window down and opens up another .exe, which is a little bit annoying. And I get, you know, there's plenty of games that do that, but the fact that it crashes when you leave is a little bit annoying, and I think that's what causes the crashing, or at least for me. Of course, it's crashing on my system. It might not crash on yours. I should add. There we go. That's about it. I've shown you the progression. I've shown you the most of the features in the game, and my overall verdict on it. It's a good game. It's a really good game, and one that I'm genuinely going to play. You know, in my own time, every now and again, with, you know, get into a couple of games with these folks, and easy enough, you know, walk out. Again, the length of the matches helps. I really hope that they are not extended. Maybe by 5 minutes wouldn't be bad. Like, tweaking a little bit with the amount of troops, the amount of players, the size of the maps and stuff like that. Wouldn't be that bad. Adding, you know, slightly larger maps, slightly larger scale maps, stuff like that, would be good as well. But as long as they keep the matches under 15 minutes on average, I think that's a real big strength of the game for most players. There we go. That's pretty much it. I recommend this game, definitely. If you're a fan of Mount and Blade, if you're a fan of the progression and the grinding from, let's say, World of Tanks, Armored Warfare, War Thunder, World of Warships, so on and so forth, then you most definitely might want to try this game out. That has been all for today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe down below if you enjoyed this video and want to stay tuned with the rest of the content that I produce on this channel. Until next time, my name is Juggernaut. Take care, and bye-bye.